Welcome, everybody. So this is our thing about Burners Without Borders. We have a few different chapters represented here, and people are basically just going to talk a little bit about what's been going on this year, because I know y'all have been having a pretty busy year. Let's see. Liz, do we have the South Texas representation? Or should we start with North Texas? Unmute.
There you go. Yeah, it's his computer, so I'm like, I don't know. So I was trying to see. I don't see Shay on here. Lauren is on here though. So if you want to go ahead and start with North Texas, we'll see if Shay pops on. But yeah, I'm fine with us being grouped together.
Okay. Aaron, do you want to start? Do we have any? Is anyone else coming from North Texas?
I'm not sure who else is on from North Texas. It could just be me.
Okay. Well, I will be happy to help because I know at least one thing that we did together. So yeah. So let's talk about North Texas and what y'all's chapter has been doing.
We actually, one of the first things we did was we partnered with street medics, and Gia and I have been talking about it for some time about trying to figure out a way of getting these hygiene kits put together. Just, the things that we take for granted that we have every day, like toothpaste, soap, conditioner, shampoo, deodorant, underwear. Like
right, because we've been going because our group, Street Medics Dallas, had been going out to different unhoused communities, and those were some of the things that they were asking for. So, and I had seen other groups bring hygiene kits, and they were like super impractical. I mean, their hearts were in the right place, but I was looking at some of the stuff, like big old tubs of shampoo and stuff, and I was like, man, burners know how to pack. We could make some awesome hygiene kits. So that's how I floated the idea to Burners Without Borders.
And it worked out really well. We actually had several donation stations that were available across town. We had, I actually posted on Nextdoor and had random people dropping off stuff on my porch, which was interesting. And we all hauled it to Geo's. We set up, what's important is if you have a threat of weather in Texas, if you set up some sort of tarp or canopy, then the weather will not happen. So that's what we did, because otherwise it was going to pour buckets on us.
Right, and it held up.
It totally did. It was nice. And we had music on, I think, and we just sat there and
we set it up outside because we wanted to make sure we were like socially distanced and everything. So we set up like 3 tables and put all the hygiene stuff on it, and then we kind of we kind of walked around with these big plastic bags, and and everybody just kind of filled up bags. And by the end of it, we had filled 80 hygiene kits. So that was pretty awesome. And then, and so I took him with me to the next few deployments that the street medics did, going to the different homeless camps, and we gave them all away already. It was like, and they went quick, man. Once they saw what was in it, they were like, yeah, they were all about it. So it was very well received.
Yeah, and it was actually not difficult to do. The nice thing is that people have all these travel items from staying at hotels and such. And so there were a lot of things that were just people had. And, times when people are constantly asking for money for donations, or we need money for this or that, when it's something that people have and can use. We also had a whole bunch of backpacks that end up going out really well too, and being some things that were useful for people to be able to upgrade, or if they had, if they had some bag that was kind of falling apart, this gave them something new and fresh.
And honestly, most of them don't even have that. I mean, people were carrying their stuff around in garbage bags. So the backpacks also went over very well.
And these were things that we put together as a co-effort and asked around the community. Mm-hmm. We've also done several things kind of getting together loosely outside. All of our events have been outside. And we had one virtual poker tournament as well in January. And we actually found a site that mimics where you actually push in your chips and you can fold in your cards, and had a virtual poker tournament online that was pretty chill. We, what else have we done? We did Christmas caroling in December. We found a senior facility, and because of COVID, we were actually, all outside and spaced out and singing Christmas carols to them. But that was for people who were on lockdown. That was the first time they gotten to see outside people like doing anything, because most of their activities have been shut down and they don't get to have visitors. So that was a real treat for them. We've also, let's see, coming up, we have a blood drive this Sunday. So if you're interested in getting poked, 12 to 4 at Chewy's in Addison. Let's see, we've also done we were going to have a lake cleanup or a park cleanup in February. And lo and behold, we had the snowpocalypse, so we decided to cancel that. But beyond that, we have another lake cleanup planned in April, and that's going to be at the Audubon. I believe we're going to go ahead and post a link to the event. So Amber just created it. But a lot of where we've had success is in doing smaller group things and doing outdoor stuff, because at that point people can spread out. One thing we also did that was really cool was with a project called texasramps.org. And what they do is they actually have people's houses that they go to and will build access ramps. And for somebody, that means they can actually get out into the world. They can get out, whereas before then they had to be carried and they couldn't actually escape their house. And they have their volunteers set up in the Dallas area. It's the second and third weekend of the month. We actually, they have their regular outings. We actually set up a special day because we wanted to start later in the day, figuring that people tend to wake up a little bit later on burner time. And we went out and built a couple ramps. It actually felt good to build something and use power tools. And they do projects all across Texas. So if that's a project you're interested in, I highly recommend it. I was one of the ones who participated, and it was fun. It was a really cool day. And beyond that, that's what we've been up to. We've been doing a lot of partnering with existing charities and existing organizations, kind of trying to see how we can consolidate efforts and help each other out. So that's what I've got for us thus far. So we might end up doing another hygiene kit in the fall. And Gio is on mute.
I'm going to jump in and say hi.
Okay.
I'm KK. I'm in Florida nowadays, Fort Lauderdale area. And yes, some of the involvement I've had this year, and wanted to see what other people are doing as far as helping out with local vaccine drives, and if anyone's been involved with that. One of the hospitals here in Fort Lauderdale was, they started offering vaccines to healthcare workers in December, people who were unaffiliated with other institutions. And yeah, they had something like 1,000 people show up on their first day and just didn't have it on, and didn't really have logistical support for that. So I helped out on the following days. I just brought my truck and table and just was willing to do whatever the was needed for the crowd. So nothing clinical even. They just, hospitals, they had their work handed out to them just with getting the vaccine in arms. But a lot of the event production skills that we have just as, part of our social and societal norms are really helpful right now. And just, question out to anyone else, people finding ways to get involved with like your local medical reserve corps or your local county health department with any of the vaccine stations. Gonna mute.
I know in Dallas, and I think actually there's a website called volley.org, VOLY.org, and you can specify area, but they have a massive site where you can volunteer. And for a lot of people who are not on the list previously or who've been waiting patiently to get their vaccine, that was a way by which they were able to get one left over at the end of the day or get bumped up in the vaccine list. And so, but they've been needing mass volunteers, and it seems like they've actually had it, because there's been sometimes when vaccine days run slowly, but there's a couple times when you're out and it's, you barely hit stop the car.
So just to cut in real quick, Geo had to step out. Her neighborhood called. There was an issue from earlier that she's probably having to handle again. Just for the sake of brevity, and so that we can get everybody a chance to talk that wants to talk. Do we have anybody else from North Texas that wants to talk about stuff? No? Okay, cool. Let's just keep going. Let's go through Texas, and then we can kind of touch some of the other areas. My name is Trouble Rap. I am the president of the Corpus chapter of BWB. Actually sitting here with Black Sheep, who is the leader of the Austin BWB. We've been partnering together, doing a lot of cleanups, both here in Austin and down in Corpus. Unfortunately, Corpus is not very COVID active, so we haven't been doing a lot of work with people in town. We've been sticking to our beach cleanup things that we've been doing for a couple of years now. We also helped the Houston chapter with the Vinton hurricane season. There was a lot of efforts out there helping those folks out. And I know that Shay from Galveston also helped out as well. So that's basically what we've been up to. I'm going to turn it over to Black Sheep, and then we'll just kind of keep moving through, I think, to Lauren and Houston.
The main event that we did here in Austin recently was there's a tradition of decorating these cedar trees on the side of a major highway here. And obviously it's moot, but it's Texas. So, if you try to mess with it, you're infringing on people's religious rights or whatever. But so the first Saturday after New Year's, we got about 8 or 10 people and went out in there and cleaned it up. And there were other people doing that as well. So it was pretty nice. And I think that's going to be an annual event for the Austin chapter.
Lauren, did you want to go next real quick?
Hey, everyone. It's good to see all of your faces. I know I'm on like default picture. I'm sitting here with wet hair and no makeup and look, what do they call it? Ratchet, I think, or I look bad. But hi. Houston, we're actually pretty quiet at the moment. Not really much going on. COVID, I don't know. I think I've been kind of personally taking every excuse to enjoy COVID while it's still lasting. So gearing up for hurricane season. It's coming up, guys. We're within like 70 days, I think, of hurricane season. So that's on the back of my mind, wondering what the storms are going to bring for us this year and how we're going to activate and get back out and help some people. Hopefully it's not us, but we're ready if it comes down to that. We were actually able last year to get out into Vinton, Louisiana for kind of a longer term trip. I think we ended up had presence on the ground for a solid 3 weeks. 2 of those weeks were continuous. And then we were there for various weekends, starting with Labor Day weekend, which would have been the big burn, but it didn't happen. So we got to do a little burn outside of the Sonic in Vinton, which is great. All in all, we helped about 30 families with various projects. We tarped roofs. We cut down trees. We did lots and lots of clearing of fallen trees.
And I didn't fall off of any roofs.
No, good job. In fact, yeah, nobody did. We had one little small injury. Somebody stepped on a nail, went through their shoe, but no big deal, no puncture wounds. And I think overall it was a really great success. We established some great connections in Vinton with a church that was very accepting to us and our burner culture. And if we ever need to get back out there, we definitely have some resources and great contacts and a good relationship. with their community. So that was really, really neat, very special. It was awesome to see so many of the Texas chapters show up. We had, Trouble Rap and Matt and a lot of the Corpus Christi people. Shayla from Galveston came down, Mason Lobo from here in Houston, Janae. We had some people from out of town that joined us. A guy from California ended up coming on with his van, and he was there with us for a little bit, and some folks from Chicago. So all in all, I think it was really great. Had a lot of fun, learned a lot of lessons, and just kind of using that, I guess, as a template going forward.
Awesome. Is there anybody else in Texas that would like to talk about stuff they've been doing either with BWB or with Street Medics or any kind of that aspect of their volunteer work? Crickets. Okay, let's open it up to everywhere else that isn't Texas. Who would like to go? Charlene? No? Oh, you're muted, babe. There you go.
Hi, everyone. How are you? So I'm here today to share what Burners Without Borders and Second Life is up to this year and what Vancouver, Canada's Burners Without Borders is up to. So in Second Life, it's a different way of being involved as Burners Without Borders. But so what we do is we participate with, so we're in the virtual world of Second Life, and we participate with 1 Billion Rising event, which is an awareness event to stop the violence against women and girls. So with that event, it's February 14th each year. And so we built an art installation to the theme, and volunteer greeted. So greeting the visitors as they came into the event in the virtual world. And like the safety side of that is you go through a greeter training. And so if somebody came to the event that maybe was harassing other people or you verbally or physically pushing you around, you get trained how to sort of respond to that. So that's sort of the connection with safety there. And then we participate with Relay for Life in Second Life, which is a global initiative that raises money for American Cancer Society. And there's also support for people that are fighting cancer or their caregivers that need mental health support or friendships, community support. So with Relay for Life, Burners Without Borders does, we join multi-team events. So other Relay for Life teams have events and we might join them. There's one coming up called Relay Stock, and we build an art installation again, and we just come together and relay together. So for the cause. And about every year we raise around $400 US, Relaying for Life and Second Life. And finally, in June, we walk the relay track together as a team. So, and then some burners from our Burn 2 regional in the virtual world join in and walk the track with our Burners Without Borders in Second Life. And just, that's how we make a difference in the virtual world. So mental health, again, support with Relay for Life. There's a 24-hour call line for people to reach out. And even during COVID, people are reaching out and needing to talk to counselors and what have you. You know, if they're fighting cancer, that's one thing, but also with COVID, can't visit their partners maybe that are in the hospital. So it's that's sort of the safety side, I guess, mental health side. I'll share in chat as well some links to our Facebook page for that. Moving on to Burners Without Borders in Vancouver, Canada chapter. So normally, we've been able to help local initiatives that have been able or allowed to directly help people in need within the vulnerable community in our downtown east side, because we have guidelines that we weren't allowed to physically do it ourselves. So there's groups that are allowed to go out and help people directly. So we have been, during COVID safety lockdowns and guidelines, we haven't been able to do that. So we also normally do a project called Christmas Isn't Over, where we show up, usually every month, we've been doing it for 10 years, but during COVID, we decided for safety reasons not to do it. One, because our government wouldn't let us, but two, just we didn't want to meet and maybe transfer COVID between each other or helping people. So normally we get together at a park and help people that are residents of the park with food and essential items. So we haven't been able to do that project, but we have dispersed about $5,000 out of our chapter's funds to help people and organizations that are able to go out and help people in need and are doing that on a regular basis during the pandemic. We were able to help support some burners that are makers that were making, like last March when COVID first outbroke. So we had some makers that were making PPE. So we donated to them to help get them. They're now a non-profit. They just went like full tilts, like awesome, and so they provided PPE for the doctors and the hospitals here. And then we supported some burners sewing the masks that they gifted out to residents in a park or like nonprofit women's centers that needed donations because they were running out of their own PPE. And we granted out money to other organizations helping street workers that were struggling, and other groups that were getting food and essential items to people in the park, because we couldn't do that anymore, but there were other people doing that was their job, like they're a nonprofit organization. So it's like partnering with other people, like someone else mentioned, Lauren, I think. And we decided to help DA's Black Rock Move-a-thon. So we granted some money towards that. And we sent up some items to the Northern Territories. There was a call out from up there. They were running out of PPE and like essential items like toiletries. And so we boxed up a whole bunch of things and shipped it up north. And so over the next year, I guess, same as everyone else, we hope to get back to our own team getting boots on the ground and doing our regular projects. I like how people are still doing park cleanups. That's awesome. Kudos to you guys. And thanks for listening.
Thank you very much. I realized I kind of, Shaylea's had oral surgery, so she was maybe going to pop on, but she wasn't going to be able to talk. She's been doing some beach cleanups as well, but they also have an ongoing reef restoration project that they've been doing. So they've been having fundraiser events kind of tied together with a beach cleanup. I'm looking around. I'm not sure if there's any other BWB specific people, whether Texas or in other places. Is there anybody else that's BWB that wants to talk about what they've been doing in the COVID times? And if not, I thought I had seen something about street medics on the schedule. Is there like a special breakout for them, or has that already happened?
We had a street medic thing yesterday as the similar kind of like spotlight on street medics.
I planned to watch that, but life came up. So maybe since if there were people that missed that, is there anybody from street medics, various cities that want to talk about their stuff?
I think there's a couple of us in here. Is Innuendo still on?
I believe so, but if you want to, hey, look at you. You're up next, Chairman. So glad you volunteered.
Oh. Yeah, hi. I guess I could go put my pink shirt on. Chairman Meow. I do logistics and I'm on the command team for Street Medics Dallas. I think I'm supposed to be the vice president when we get our 501c3 paperwork filed. So it's kind of cool. We've been working on getting that done. We started doing protest support by so like especially where burner stuff crosses over, like things that I've learned in safety, setting up a headquarters and a station and what supplies do we need? What kind of volunteers do I need? What kind of, shifts can I put together very quickly to, corral volunteers to go, do a thing? What kind of teams can we organize? That's a lot of what I do for our organization. Lately, we've been doing more houseless outreach, which has been pretty nifty. I found we go out and do blood pressure checks, blood glucose, blood ox. We can do basic first aid and like clean bandages and change wounds. I put those. Anyway, so and that's been, I think, helpful. We occasionally do come across people that have really high blood pressure that day, or as a diabetic myself, I've seen some blood sugars test really high, and you're just like, oh wow, is it just that these people don't know or they don't realize they aren't feeling well. And if we come across somebody that's consistently high, we can encourage them to go seek medical attention for that. And because there are a lot of populations that don't get regular checkups, so things like that could go under the radar for a long time. So it seems like it's been helpful. Yeah, that's kind of what I have to say on that for right now. Is there a street medic from Austin in here? I thought I heard somebody in the chat earlier.
Amoeba said that they were that they are a street medic in Austin. Are you there, Amoeba?
Yeah, hi. I am a street medic in Austin. I am not any like upper level of our like command structure or anything. I volunteered in like I don't remember, in like June or something, and then I finally got like officially added to everything a couple of months after that, like a month or two after that. And so I've been not on that many appointments, maybe like 10 or so. We do I had previous training with ICS basics, and so when I started working, it was almost always with Ginger as our lead, and so we worked together a lot to sort of try to incorporate ICS stuff. We've done kind of the same thing that Chairman was just saying. Like, we started doing a lot of protest things, and more recently, as protests have calmed down a little bit, we've done a lot of unhoused things. We've done there's like 2 large main encampments in Austin for the unhoused communities that we go to. I don't know, at least once a month usually. More if there's something that's happened, like we know that like flooded or something like that, and do wound care and yeah, just sort of same things that Chairman was saying of like checkups, like basic things like blood pressure and general wellness checks. We also have the those little bags of just everyday supplies like toiletries and deodorants, and sometimes if we have additional like small snacks, food items, electrolyte packets are pretty popular here in the summer. That we'll give out. We'll have like a whole bunch of water bottles, and people that either they feel like or we feel like are not well hydrated, those are kind of popular.
Yeah, thank you for that idea. Thank you very much for that idea. I have never thought about putting electrolyte packets in our essential kits. Awesome.
Yeah, it started because of the marches that we were trying to carry all this Gatorade and all this water, and the Gatorade always went like way faster, and we had a hard time recouping it. And so I started, me and my like smaller team lead, Ducky, started buying like those Propel packets where it's like 15 in a little box, and we'd buy like 5 and just like bring them and hand them out to all the volunteers. So everybody would have a couple in their pockets to hand out if anybody was looking dehydrated on the marches. And then we just started adding them to the care packet. So, yep. It's about what that's what we've been doing.
We also go through a lot of Pedialyte. I think some of the marches, especially during the summer, the biggest thing that we're giving people is, hey, if you didn't bring a mask, we've got masks and we've got sanitizer, and here is water and Pedialyte. Just keeping everybody hydrated. Yeah. Something also that I'm sure that other street medic groups do the same thing, but just we obviously do our breakups of like multiple teams of 2 to 3, and we usually do it broken up by skill level. So we'll have like, if we only have 2 people, then we have 1 high skill level person and 1 lower skill level person. And the lower ratings person, the person who isn't like a paramedic or an EMT or whatever, is the one that carries all the stacks and water bottles, because it makes more sense for like the EMT or the paramedic or whatever to be carrying their like trauma kit and all of that stuff. Not that the other person wouldn't be useful in it, and they still, like for me, example, I carry all the basic supplies of like gauze, wraps, Band-Aids, everything, but I also have a giant backpack that I fill with water bottles as opposed to trauma gear. And that's been helpful, because we can also break up groups more efficiently, I guess, by assigning like team lead, like critical aid and basic aid people. And then everybody always knows where to go to get those supplies as well. So I'm going to do a similar sort of team. Oh, go.
I was just going to say, I think real quick that Brentley had a national street medics update, and then some very smart person private messaged and said, we don't actually have to fill up the whole hour. We can be done since we have kind of finished up with BWB stuff. So Brentley, why don't you, or I'm sorry, Odin, or whatever the hell you're going by these days.
Oh yeah.
Why don't you go ahead and do that, and then we can turn it back to Gio for the wrap up.
National update. Currently, Portland is still going strong. The feds are still there. They're still doing their thing. Seattle, New York, their protests are still going strong. The big thing is Indiana. There's a town in Indiana that has a KKK rally coming up, and the town has requested street medics. We've already covered their community defense leagues, but they're requesting street medics to come out. What they're trying to create is kind of sort of a party atmosphere where it's white people educating white people instead of like a clash of protest. But we do have community defense leagues going out there, and if you're interested in heading to Indiana for their mutual aid coalition, send me a private message or hit me up in the Discord or something, and I can get you that information. And Minneapolis, George Floyd Square is still going strong. They're prepping the city is prepping what looks to be a dismissal in the Derek Chauvin George Floyd case. The George Floyd Memorial Square is still going strong. If you don't know what's going on there, the city is they're trying to push him out. Basically, there's a $50 million contract on the table, and they've stopped talking to black leaders, and they've pretty much just shut the doors in those conversations. But the medic group there, MASH 612, is now becoming a permanent free community hospital. And so they're going to be based there at the George Floyd Square from here on out. And that's really cool. They got their 501c3 status. And then here in Southeast Colorado, we're a little bit more hardcore, I'd say. We're not neutral. We've been clashing with neo-Nazis over, you may have heard the Tenacious Unicorn Ranch. So couple of us have been running security out there, armed security and medic services for them, and that's still going on. So they're rotating through volunteers there. If you're interested in, I know you, if you're interested in helping out there at all, let me know. But you can't go unless you have plate armor. Yeah, that was really quick. There's still a lot of actions happening all over the place, and there's still a lot of people that need help. And if you're interested in getting those Discord servers for the National Street Medics, actually, I'll just drop the link in here real quick. And it's in the Safety Side Discord under links, so you can find it in that Discord server. And yeah, that's it. That's all I got.
Okay. Wow, thank you guys. Sorry about having to duck out earlier. My neighbor had an issue because, and it turned into my issue because they were trying to dig something for a water pipe and they hit a gas pipe, and it was my gas pipe. So that was fun, but it got fixed. But yeah, so that's fun to do when you're trying to run a virtual conference. But so I understand that the Burners Without Borders stuff got talked out, and then we had, and then we went back to Street Medics, which is totally cool because it still follows our theme of using our, using our safety skills in real world applications. So so that's totally fine. But yeah, so if we're pretty much done with this session, that's perfectly fine. Like I said, we didn't have to necessarily fill up the whole hour if we didn't have an hour's worth of stuff. And so the next thing we have is the Ranger Roundtable at 7. So why don't we go ahead and take a break, and we'll come back at 7 for those who want to do the Ranger Roundtable. And then the Regional Roundtable is going to be at 8. And then comes the Pyro presentation at 9 o'clock, which I'm very excited about. I'm excited about all of them, but really excited about the Pyro presentation.
Awesome. Thanks, Gio. And if you guys are up for it, I'll share my screen and take you around Burn 2 Regional for 5 minutes if you want.
Yes, please.
Do it.
Okay, hang on. This is literally only the second time I've done this, and now I'm thinking it's so cool. I'm going to do this for our next event. Hopefully, get a Zoom account and then share it. And
do it. Yeah.
If people can't make it in themselves, then this is the next best thing to kind of show people. Anyway.
There you
so
go.
This is Burners Without Borders. What? Information booth at the Burn 2 Regional Welcome Area in Gerlach. And I can't get rid of this. Hang on. How do I close this? Everybody's pictures. All you guys are here where my control panel is to move my avatar. Anyway, I'll just do it this way. So Rosie the Riveter is Burners Without Borders sort of image. We can do it, right? So that's what. So we had somebody that's very talented make this Rosie the Riveter for us in the virtual world, and then we have the flag. That's our logo that we just recently changed, actually, and I love it. You click the flag, and then you'll get information about Burners Without Borders Second Life and how you can get involved. So this is Gerlach Burn 2 Regional Welcome Area. Teach about the 10 principles. If you do Second Life, how to move your controls and all that, sort of a teaching spot for newbies. Right now we're preparing for our next event, so I'm not going to show you all that because that's sort of private information of our installations. We don't want to advertise because you guys are recording this, right? So anyway, but I'll show you Gerlach. This is here on our SIM. We don't leave no trace Gerlach. This stays here permanently. So when you come and visit, you can always come visit the Black Rock Saloon, walk around, visit people. So we have posters from past Burning Man events. I can't move my camera to show you up there, but they're all around showing, well, not all of them, but some of the posters. There's a big picture of the man up there above the saloon door. So this is sort of a hangout, you know, Black Rock Saloon. I don't know if you've ever been there, Gerlach. But then we have our HQ, which is made to model sort of a replica of the real life one as much as possible. We have our town hall books here. You can always read and look at what we've been up to over the years here. And at the back, we have a tribute to Larry Harvey for newbie people to learn all about, Larry Harvey and his history and Burning Man. Anyway, it's kind of fun. And then we have workshops all the time teaching people how to do this or that. Here's our DMV. We have art cars. Oh, I should try and hop on an art car for you guys.
Oh, you can do that?
Yeah. if I could get rid of this thing here. So okay, let me get a art car. Get to my inventory here. Which one do I want to pick? So many.
All right, that's the little meeting place.
Pardon? And then we have our planning meetings over there where the campfire is.
Mhm.
We have planning meetings 2 times a week. And we have about 20 people come and we plan our event for that month, or we just talk about whatever we need to talk about.
And how often do you have events?
We have 5 events a year, and then our event in October, those are like weekend events. In October, we have our Mirror of Burning Man event, and that's 7 days long. And it's the same theme as Burning Man. Okay. So the person that created Second Life is a burner. His name's Philip Rosendale. He went to Black Rock City Burning Man one year, came back and said, how can I create this in a virtual way? And he created Second Life. So, and then Burning Man obviously got a parcel, a sim in Second Life. And so we've been there ever since, from the beginning of time as well, because he's a burner. So why wouldn't he make help? So Danger Ranger and Philip Rosendale created the Burning Man sim here.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, Danger Ranger, he started it. He's still the lead, like, not the lead, but like he'd be the person that helps us make it happen, right? So
cool.
But I mean, he's obviously not here very much. Okay, so let me just try and find this here. Get an art car out. I don't know why I can't find one. This always happens when